What's up, guys? My name's Oscar. This is my YouTube channel, and today I'm going to be bringing you what is in my bag. It is currently December 2nd, so it's the end of the year, end of 2025 in the bag, kind of. Mainly wanted to bring this because I have my first A-tier tournament. It's starting this Friday here in Gainesville. It's our biggest tournament of the year. It's the Cho. So I'm pretty excited about that, and I wanted to kind of give you a sneak peek of what's in my bag going into that tournament. So we'll start off with putters and then go on through. First, my putting putter. I have this beautiful PA3 with a nice little note from my girlfriend. Love this putter. I'm not a great putter by any means, but I feel like this gives me a lot of confidence. The 300 plastic has a lot of really good grip, and I feel like it's just stable enough for my spin putt. So I've been really liking it this year. Going on to one of my approach / driving putters, I have the Eclipse Watt. It's kind of like a glitch, but it's a little heavier, so it's the max weight version pretty much. A little more torque resistant too. I feel like it doesn't turn as much. Right now I've beaten it in, so it's a nice little hyzer flip disc. Great for little touchy floaty shots, just kind of like that frisbee toss. Another thing to note when going through this bag, I predominantly play left-handed, but I also throw right-handed. It's just not like my main throwing side. So like I will forehand right-handed, I will backhand right-handed, and I will only backhand left-handed. So that's something that's pretty interesting about my game. But going on, I have this beautiful Berg X. Nickname is Stella for my beautiful dog that is currently sitting right next to me. Come here, Stella. Let's see if you can see her in the camera. You can kind of see her head. There she is. Yeah, me and my girlfriend have matching Berg X's. Hers is like a magenta color, and hers is named Bentley for our other dog. And this one is named Stella for this beautiful girl right here. Okay, pretty girl. Go eat. Go eat. You want to pop up here? Next, we will be going into our approach disc. So, I mainly like to approach with a forehand, a righty forehand to be specific. I feel like the most consistent shot for me approaching. I played baseball growing up, so hence why I throw like right-handed and left-handed. But I feel like with righty, because of my baseball background, it's really easy to get like touch. So I know this really isn't an approach disc, but I treat it like one. This is a matrix, a lap second matrix from MVP. And in my mind, I used to bag an NV, but the NV I could not forehand, right? It wasn't very torque resistant on a forehand. So then I grabbed a tempo, really liked the tempo, but was kind of in and out of the back. I didn't backhand the tempo a lot, and that's the one thing I loved about the NV was I could backhand it, and it was a pretty straight backhand. Well, when I first grabbed this matrix, it flies just like an NV on a backhand, but at like a 5-speed rim, so it's a little thinner, more of like that mid-range style. But I can also forehand it and get some really straight, flat flights from it. So I've really been enjoying this matrix. And then something pretty new to the bag is this parallel vessel. Let's see if the camera can pick up those swirls. There it is. Yeah, really pretty disc. I'm not like super confident in it yet. Like it's not. It's in the zone slot for me. That like straighter but still has stability spot. It's not bad. I still have mixed feelings about it. It could be in or out of the bag. Next, we have the Doomsday Crisis. And if you've never thrown a Crisis, it is like a Zone OS, but a little pushier and has a farther flight. It's not as dumpy. It is overstable like the Zone OS, but just not as much. It's like between a Zone and a Zone OS. Kind of like an A2 is what I hear a lot of comparisons, is the A2. And then going on to mids for my bag. Right now, this is probably the slot that's going to change the most after the tournament. I really like throwing mids, but the courses I'm playing at really don't call for mids. So I only have 3 currently, and including the Matrix, I really have 4. But starting off with my flippiest, I have this Neo Origin from Discmania. And if you never throw an Origin, this is the like perfect hyzer flip to turn disc. And me throwing predominantly lefty makes it a lot easier because sometimes my righty like hyzer line can be a little inconsistent. So I'll just throw a lefty backhand turnover and hit those same shots that I would hit righty. Really like that one. This one has been a lot of fun to throw, but it's probably going to be out of the bag after this tournament, is the Melita. I really like the Melita, and I like the profile. It's really smooth, easy to throw. It's just a little straighter. Not even straighter, a little more stable than I was expecting. I wanted something that was kind of like a hyzer flip up to flat and ride with maybe like a little finish. And right now, if I throw it on hyzer, it'll barely flip up, but it will finish a lot more than I want. I think once I beat it in, it will fly what I kind of wanted it to fly like. But as for right now, it's a really great straight thrower with a decent amount of torque. And then for my overstable slot, I have this beautiful Thought Space Athletic Crux. Absolutely love this stamp. Great disc. This is just my overstable mid workhorse. Throw it in the wind. Trust it's going to fight the wind. If I need something to hook up right, this is what I'll usually throw in that mid-range slot. It's a good like 250 to 300. Nah, probably like 275. 250, 275. A little bit of hyzer in. Great disc, love this. I'm probably going to get switched out with a Pyro once I'm done with the tournament, though, just because I love being able to forehand a Pyro. This, I'm not super comfortable being able to forehand, so, but I can't take it out of the bag when it looks that beautiful, you know. All right, coming into my fairways, which is probably my favorite part of my game right now, I have a Trash Panda Ozone. It is a Backlens Chain Gang from Georgia. Found this in the U section at Played Against Sports. So this is pretty nice. Nice little purple color. I love purple. You'll notice a lot of my discs are like purple, pink, those kind of colors. I like bright colors. They're easy to find, especially here in the green in Florida. Not much to say about this. Flippy fairway. It's my hyzer flip to turn fairway, kind of like my Origin, but in a fairway slot. Really shapeable disc. Really like that one. This, right now, is like my absolute favorite fairway driver in my bag. It's a really lightweight Athena, and at the time when I picked it up, I did not know it was lightweight. It just felt good. And the amount of push this thing gets without being flippy is insane. I will throw it hard and flat, and it will maybe turn just a little bit, but it's always going to fade at the end, and this will go as far as like my 10, 11, 12 speeds. Like it won't have that like insane finish that those will have. Like if I'm afraid of skipping OB with like a 10, 11, 12 speed, then I'll pull this thing out because I know I can get just as far without getting that massive skip OB. So that's really nice. Probably not going out of the bag anytime soon. This next one, though, will probably be leaving the bag soon. It's another Athena. I just picked it up, and I was hoping to find like a more overstable, I guess, Athena compared to that lightweight one. And the jury's still not out on this one. I like it, but right now the flight is still pretty similar to my other Athena that I really am not noticing a difference. And it's not enough to justify having 2 Athenas in the bag that fly the same. So, because I'm always going to go to the other one because the other one feels more comfortable. On to my next one. Metal Flake T-Bird 3. It's got a little bit of dome, but I really love this blue color. Nice, grippy, overstable. Throw it hard, flat, and then just let it finish. It has a lot more finish than that Athena, and it's a lot more torque resistant, and if I put on a little Annie, it will fight back, where the Athena will hold that Annie. So it's like my slightly overstable fairway driver. And then I have an old, like 2018, 2017 Color Glow Firebird with the James Conrad black ink stamp. You can kind of see it there. It's a wolf stamp, like a tribal. Love this thing. It is so beat in. You can kind of see it right there. So beat in, and it just flies like a Color Glow Firebird. So little flip up, ride straight, and then just a little finish at the end. Super workable. Really love that. Some of these discs I've been starting to forehand a little bit more, and that Metal Flake T-Bird, beautiful compliment to that Firebird. It's like that Firebird, but it pushes even farther and a lot more of a mellow fade. So, and then getting into my like 10 speed control drivers, I have a trail from another round in Dallas. That's where I'm originally from, is Dallas. So I picked this up before we moved here to Florida. But the trail's another one of those that, for me, the decision still hasn't been made. I like it sometimes, and other times I don't get the flight I'm expecting. It's a little inconsistent for me, but I think that's just user error more than anything. I think I just need to throw it more. A lot of people say that they get like the maximum distance out of their trails, but for me, like, this thing just kind of like when I really snap it, it just burns over. So maybe I just have a flippier run, and I need to find a more stable run. But a lot of hype around the trails, and I want to get on the hype train. So, but yeah, it's just my hyzer flip to flat with some turn fairway or control driver. It's like a faster ozone for me, with more distance potential. But that's one of those ones that will probably be on the chopping block after the tournament's over. One that will not be on the chopping block is this beautiful Color Shift Onyx from Ledgestone this year. I love that stamp, and the pink Color Shift is so cool. I had a blue one that I left on the course in Jonesville, and I was so disappointed I had to go pick up another one. But this thing is great. It's kind of like my 10-speed Athena. Pushes a lot straighter than you'd expect for an Onyx. This run of Onyx I found is like really straight, which I really like, but it will still always finish just a little bit at the end. If you throw it in the wind, it's gonna turn, but it's still gonna finish a little. So it's nice to have something like that in the bag that's kind of a little faster and a little bit more stable than the Athena. Like, if I throw the Athena in a huge headwind, I'm afraid that's going to flip over. This, if I throw it into a huge headwind, I'm going to get that same Athena flight. So it's nice. Also, forehanding this thing has been awesome. This thing is like the straightest forehand disc I have ever thrown. So it's really nice. Really love that. Moving into my like overstable 10-speed, it's the Halo Sea Blend Roman. I was a huge fan of the PDs when the PDs first came out with Discmania made by Innova. Those old school PDs, but unfortunately I don't have any of those anymore. So when I found out the Roman was literally that exact same mold, I decided to pick some up, and I am not disappointed. I had a Dot Space Coalescence in this slot, but it was a little more overstable. That was almost like Firebird-esque, where this is like a true like PD power driver, like pushing overstable. So I really like this, and this run of Halo Sea Blend is like incredibly flat, so it's really comfortable to forehand too. And then going into my like 11 speeds, I got two 11 speeds. I have a Big Z Scorch with this beautiful stamp on it. This for me is, I can rip it hard and it'll get a little turn, but it's going to stay pretty straight, not have a bunch of turn or a bunch of fade. It's going to be a pretty straight flying disc. And then it's just going to finish gently towards the end. I get a lot of distance out of this thing, but it doesn't ever flip and burn on me, which is what I really like. I think of it as like a beat-in Wraith, kind of, with a lot less fade. And then speaking of Wraiths, I have this beautiful like pink lemonade Halo Wraith that I got from Black Ink Disc. Love this stamp. I'm a huge fan of alien stamps. Anything alien, I really enjoy. One of my goals in a video later is to make an all alien themed bag, so I'm pretty excited about that. But this Halo Wraith is a little straighter / flippier than I was thinking. When I first got the Halo Wraith, it was to replace an old 12-time Climo Wraith that I had that would like hyzer flip up, turn, and get like max distance. I thought this was going to be closer to like the girthy wraiths, but this is definitely not as stable or slash overstable as that. Um, but it's still a really good flyer. I really enjoy this. I had the Axiom Defy in this spot before I switched it out, but the Defy had beaten in to where it was very similar to that Scorch, so I decided to give this thing a shot. After the tournament, I don't know how much longer it will stay in the bag. It kind of right now is in there because I love the look of it. Don't know how much I'm going to be throwing it. Then my Flippy Bomber 12 speed is this Innova Racer with the Jelly Bean stamp. When I first got this thing was definitely more stable than I was expecting. I thought I'd get like immediate flip and ride, but it kind of came out as like a good beat-in destroyer, you know? Like it had a little bit of turn, but it wasn't like flippy. This one is 163, so I thought when I first got it, it was just going to be just a huge hyzer flip turn, like flippy guy, but it came out exactly as advertised. It was a slightly beat-in destroyer, and now that I've thrown it a lot, it has turned into what I expected it to be, this big hyzer flip to turn bomber distance driver, which I really enjoy. It's really nice to have in the bag, something flippy. Throw that for rollers too. A newer disc in the bag, this iBlend Emperor. I don't know what it is about the iBlend plastic, but Infinite really crushed it with this plastic blend. I have an iBlend T-Bird that I really enjoy too in my collection over there. But this thing, when you get a hold of this thing, it is a bomber. Like my Racer is definitely my bomber disc because it's flippier, but this one has enough stability that I can trust it and really hit it into a wind and not worry about it like burning over. And then the next 3 discs in my bag are all destroyers. So I have this 2-time Ricky destroyer. I used to have its clone in my collection, but I sold it. So now this is the last Ricky destroyer I have. I love the pink on blue. Blue is also one of my favorite colors, so the pink shatter on that blue looks really nice. It's a relatively flat destroyer, so it's really comfortable for forehands. That's mainly what this is used for. Pretty straight forehands with like a nice little checkup at the end. And then this one I call the Purple Bomber. It is a Sakibot destroyer. I don't know if you can hear this, but it has a definite heartbeat and it is pretty domey. It's got a little bit of that like blizzard rim, but it goes a country mile. I love this thing, and it's still like stable. Like it'll turn, but it's always gonna finish. Whereas like that iBlend Emperor may not get out of that, you know, Anheuser that I would put this on. So, but that thing goes so far. I love that thing, especially for it being overstable. And then getting into my last 2 discs that are like my overstable workhorses, I have this Halo Destroyer. I call it the Black Hole Destroyer just because it looks like a black hole. Absolutely love this run of destroyer. So overstable, really nice for forehand. I can put it on like a decent amount of ante, not that much, probably like right there, and watch it just kind of pan out and still get a skip. I mean, not much to say. I mean, if you know this run of destroyer, you know how money it is and how much people love throwing this overstable version of a destroyer. So that is my preferred overstable destroyer. And then my last disc, which is my absolute utility beefcake disc, is this Halo Innova Juggernaut. This thing is, when I tell you it is just a straight like beefcake, like that's all it does. This is literally my skip shot disc. It's just throw it hard, let it skip, throw it on a little ante, watch it fight out and skip. Like that's all it does. Skip, 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 and I love it. And it is my get out of jail utility distance driver, really. Mainly forehands. I don't really ever throw it backhand. If I do, it's to get like a low skip shot off of the pine straw or something down here. But yeah, that's my 2025 end of the season in the bag. I have the Grip AX5 bag. Love this thing. Had it since like 2019. So I had it for a few years. Got all my pins from all the states I've been to. Of course, got my patches. Top Gun, Talk to Me Goose patch. Yeti Space Force again. Big fan of anything alien or outer space. Got this at Disc South when I actually got to meet Jay at the booth, so that was pretty cool. The Yeti himself, you know. Bogey Bros, of course, got a rep Foundation. Huge fan of Foundation. Another round, like I said, I'm originally from Dallas, so another round Dallas had just opened up right before we moved here. So always got to rep, you know, the home. And then love this Send It. It always reminds me sometimes, like, when you're having a good round or a bad round, sometimes you just got to send one and just see what happens. But love this grip AX5 bag. You know, shout out to Trash Panda. Love their brand. Shout out to Armory. Got this jersey in. Getting ready for this weekend. Looks good. Armory's down in College Station, Texas, so got to represent my Texas brands, you know. But other than that, I hope you enjoyed the in the bag.